tennis and water sports palace in Dushanbe carried a different kind of tension on July 22, 2025. It wasn't the nervous buzz of a wild crowd expecting chaos. It was the focused hush of people who understood they were about to witness something technical, calculated, and deeply personal. IBA.PRO 8 wasn't just another event on the calendar. For Akmal Ubaidov, it was home. For Tayfur Aliyev, it was a test far away from familiarity. 6 rounds at 57.2 kilograms, where mistakes don't scream, they whisper and cost you slowly. Aliyev entered first, carrying the resume of a veteran forged in elite amateur fire. European Games bronze medalist, Olympian, World Championship experience against the very best. His style reflected that background, economical movement, disciplined half-cover guard, shoulders high, chin tucked, nothing flashy, nothing wasted. A fighter who survives on timing and counters rather than volume. Across from him stood Ubaidov, unbeaten on the IBA.PRO stage, calm but visibly feeding off the energy rolling down from the stands. He wasn't loud, he didn't rush. He simply looked comfortable, like a man who knew exactly where he was supposed to be. From the opening bell, there was no explosion, only assessment. Jabs flicked without commitment, feints replaced punches. Each man trying to draw reactions rather than force outcomes. Aliyev held his guard tight, inviting shots that never fully came. Ubaidov switched stances early, testing rhythm, touching the body just enough to make Aliyev think. It was clear immediately, this would not be decided by power but by patience. The crowd murmured, understanding that the real story was just beginning to write itself, line by careful line. As the first round settled into rhythm, the contrast between styles became sharper. Aliyev's movements were compact and economical, his half-cover guard absorbing and deflecting Ubaidov's straight shots with quiet efficiency. When Aliyev threw, it was with intention, looping right hands, sudden hooks aimed to punish any lapse in distance. But intention alone wasn't enough. Ubaidov wasn't where Aliyev expected him to be. Each time Aliyev committed, Ubaidov slid just out of range, resetting the fight at angles that favored speed over strength. Ubaidov's stance switching wasn't cosmetic, it was strategic. From orthodox he probed, from southpaw he stabbed the body. Short lefts landed under the guard, not hard enough to shock, but sharp enough to score and remind. These were the kinds of punches that don't draw gasps from the crowd but quietly win rounds. Aliyev, aware of the scoring but unwilling to abandon discipline, remained composed. He rolled shots with his shoulders, tucked behind his forearms, letting Ubaidov spend energy trying to find clean openings. Round 2 brought more intent but little chaos. The crowd began calling Ubaidov's name, a steady chant that rose and fell with each exchange. Aliyev tried to respond with sharper counters, but his accuracy lagged just a fraction behind the movement he was chasing. Ubaidov, meanwhile, slipped along the ropes with matador-like footwork, stepping off at angles that reset distance instantly. The fight still felt even on the surface, but underneath it, momentum was beginning to tilt, not through damage, but through control. The kind that only becomes obvious later, when legs grow heavier and decisions slower. By the third round, the fight's true narrative started to surface. The openings were still small, but Ubaidov was beginning to find them more consistently. His southpaw lefts to the body landed with increasing regularity, threading through the gaps in Aliyev's defense. They weren't thrown with reckless force, they were placed with purpose. Each touch drained a little more energy, a little more comfort. Aliyev, sensing the shift, attempted to press forward, but his attacks came from just a step too far out, swinging at shadows rather than flesh. Aliyev's frustration showed not in his face, but in his choices. He abandoned patience in small moments, loading up on hooks that lacked proper foot positioning. Ubaidov capitalized, answering with crisp uppercuts and quick combinations before stepping out of danger. One clean right uppercut snapped Aliyev's head back, briefly forcing him into a high guard instead of his preferred half-cover. It was subtle, but it mattered. Defensive systems only work when they remain intact. The crowd felt it too. Their volume rose not because of a dramatic exchange, but because they sensed their fighter gaining control. Ubaidov's body language remained composed, no celebration, no wasted movement. He wasn't chasing a knockout. He was building a decision brick by brick. Aliyev still had moments, landing the occasional solid shot, but they came isolated, unsupported by sustained combinations. In fights like this, single punches don't change narratives. Consistency does. And by the end of the third, consistency belonged to Ubaidov. The judges didn't need fireworks, they needed clarity. And clarity was quietly leaning toward the hometown favorite. Round 4 marked Aliyev's pushback. Understanding the fight was slipping, he increased his intensity, stepping forward with more urgency and digging shots into Ubaidov's body. For the first time, Ubaidov's accuracy dipped slightly, a sign that the pressure was registering. Aliyev landed some of his cleanest punches of the bout here, sharp right hands, inside hooks that forced exchanges instead of escapes. The fight tightened, the margin narrowed. This was where experience inside longer professional rounds separated itself. Ubaidov didn't fight the pressure, he redirected it. He spun off the ropes, switched stances mid-exchange, and reset angles before Aliyev could fully capitalize. When Aliyev overextended, Ubaidov answered with straight counters down the middle, reminding him of the risk attached to aggression. The exchanges became messier, clinches increased, referee warnings followed. Fatigue began creeping into both men's footwork, visible in heavier steps and shorter reactions. By the fifth round, energy was clearly draining. Punches lost snap. Misses became costly. Aliyev needed sustained success but couldn't maintain accuracy long enough to shift control. Ubaidov, sensing the moment, focused on management rather than domination. Short flurries, clean exits, clock awareness. It wasn't flashy, but it was intelligent. The crowd stayed with him, roaring approval after every tidy combination and escape. This was no longer a question of who could hit harder. It was about who could think longer under pressure. The sixth round opened with one clear reality. Aliyev needed something decisive. Ubaidov knew it, and so did the crowd. The early moments were scrappy, bodies colliding, clinches breaking rhythm. Then Ubaidov turned toward the stands and asked for energy. What he received was instant. The building responded as if plugged into him directly. Suddenly, the fatigue faded. His feet lightened. His hands sharpened. A burst of clean combinations followed, right-hand leads. Southpaw lefts fired straight down the pipe, punches landing in clusters instead of isolation. Aliyev tried to answer, showing heart and resilience, but the timing belonged to the man from Dushanbe now. Every exchange ended with Ubaidov stepping away clean, leaving Aliyev chasing the aftermath. Judges remember moments, and Ubaidov was creating them deliberately. In the closing minute, Ubaidov did what experienced professionals do best. He managed the round. Smart movement, controlled engagement, just enough offense to seal memory without risking position. Aliyev fired back bravely, landing a final counter that earned respect, but it wasn't enough to erase what had come before. When the bell rang, the outcome felt inevitable. The decision was unanimous. Akmal Ubaidov victorious on home soil, not by knockout, not by dominance. By intelligence, adaptability, and composure. It was a performance that showed growth, the kind that doesn't always trend online, but wins careers. In Dushanbe that night, Ubaidov didn't just defend his undefeated record. He proved he could control a fight from start to finish, and that's the most dangerous skill of all.